Okay, I'm back. I am back. I got my ibuprofen. They make them tiny nowadays. I have these like mini ones. They're like, I remember these used to be almost like the size of like the old NyQuil liquid capsule kind of things. Now these are tiny. You just want a little. Yeah, they're only 200 milligrams each. I usually don't need a ton. Most medications and things, even stuff like caffeine, like any drug of any sort, tends to hit me really hard. Like I just don't need a lot. So yeah, with something like this, like this will be enough for now, I think. I'll need more later, but you know, when it's 200, you can take it every like 4 hours and not worry. I also just don't feel like taking more than whatever I need at any point in time. Because I feel like you're just making your kidneys work harder for what? Or your liver, depending on what you're taking here, you know? Ugh. Okay. Here we go. I get ever since my surgery and cancer fiasco, everything, I get like multiple times a month, I get a bunch of just swelling. And I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, since my deballing. It's just water retention. You know, it's nothing outside of that, but I get it like everywhere, and it even like hits my spine because like tissues in that area will also retain water. And it just like, oh man. It makes my legs hurt, which is why I end up taking ibuprofen. You know, like it's a little more than I want to thug out. Um, but it like I get water retention in basically everything from my belly button down. Every bit of tissue, even outer stuff like muscle layer, hip area, stuff like that, just kind of radiating down. And then it kind of pressing on the spine a little bit when that happens. Definitely like it's almost like having temp sciatica a little bit, a little bit. And it's just, for the most part, it's just like this dull pain. So I get it a couple times a month for like a day or two. What does the doc say? This is all very normal. It's not tied to some medications because I'm not on meds. I've never been on anything for like a chronic thing in my life, actually. I've only been on stuff to treat a temporary condition, you know, post-surgery stuff, treatment for cancer, that sort of thing. But this wasn't tied to those treatments. This started beforehand. So it's interesting. This is something, I mean, it started before my surgery and we took everything out. But I didn't really notice it because I was already in pain all the time. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have the comparison there. And there were definitely like spikes of it, but it did not seem like it was tied to anything, you know? And then after the surgery, it kept going. But now it's like easy for other tissues to swell because they have room to swell. So that's why like after the surgery, it's really apparent. But it was there beforehand. So it's just a change for me that occurred while having the condition, like previously. So it's weird. And yeah, it just means that occasionally I just get like really bad pain. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, the good news is it's just a symptom and there's nothing going on that I actually have to be concerned about. I just have to manage this, which means, you know, pop ibuprofen and mope around or something. Thankfully, my current work is sitting in a chair for the most part, you know? So it's like much better than in my old work if I had to actually be going to a place. Um, that would be. Oh. Imagine sitting on the train and feeling like this. I would rather die, dude. So big part of me being like, yeah, streaming is the move for me because holy, maybe you should get swole. There's a lot of stuff I physically can and cannot do. Won't go deep into that, but also no, that doesn't have anything to do with the condition. It wouldn't change it. No matter what I did, I would still have it. It would still be like this. So it's just the good news is, yeah, it's just a symptom, but I feel like, oh, it feels like someone like just punched me in the gut a bunch of times and in the back a bunch of times, and I'm just like bruised. Like that's kind of what it feels like, you know? But visceral, very within the body, not like on the surface. Very ouch. Very ouch. Why did this one chat stop? Oh, there we go. Caught up. Anyway, I don't want to be a downer though. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know that you know, that's how I am today. That's where I'm at. Does ice or anything relieve it? Nope. Not really. Because it's, again, it's visceral. I think if it were just surface, then that could help, but not really. Kind of nothing you can do but take ibuprofen. Which is exactly what I do. Exactly what I do. I'm on to prof. I'm on to prof. So I feel it, yeah, I'm on some dumb morphine. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh man. I was dispatched yesterday. Good. I think it was fun to stream. I ended up rating it a 7 out of 10 because I think like the way I felt about the animations and the execution of it was like 10 out of 10. Perfect, beautiful. The big gameplay segments were still fun. They had some issues with some stuff being really unclear, and I felt like some things weren't explained well, and the UI had some blind spots for me. Might just be me, but there were other people saying they also didn't notice a lot of shit on the UI, like important notices and things, because it was just so minimal, you know, in certain ways. Or maybe minimal isn't the word there, but you know, it's just not designed in a way where like people noticed everything. So at least it wasn't just me. But yeah, mostly it only lost points for writing, which I think was like really good on the individual scene basis. I liked how they framed and outlined each scene, like the arc that was happening in each scene. The overarching story was not bad. I just didn't like how they wrote the arcs per character. Like, I felt like they didn't let a lot of them grow in ways that they should have offered them, I felt, to make them more dynamic and not one note. And I didn't like that the game, you know, it was very clear by the end that it was all illusion of choice, and there were only a couple of choices that actually changed much. And everything else, like, you could pick a dialogue option, but literally the scene would continue the same exact way no matter which dialogue option you picked, you know? So it was just like, oh, pick which of the voice lines it plays at this moment is kind of how it felt for most of it. So that's where it lost points for me. A lot of people also saying that they played the game and they were like, yeah, you know, the scenes were like the same for me, for almost all of you, all of the things that you chose, even though I chose different stuff. You know, so that was interesting. I feel like that's a budget and time thing, though, not like a them failing thing, if that makes sense. I feel like that was, they probably would have changed that if they had the time and money, is my feeling. You know? Life nudity tag, and they didn't even show Gollum's butthole. 0 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't like they kept saying like, oh, this person will remember that, but then it never came back up as anything important. So they would give you this little prompt to make something feel like it meant something, but it actually meant nothing. And then on top of that, they're like trying to trick you into thinking it means more. And I was like, don't give me that prompt if it doesn't actually change anything, you know? So that's something that I wish was different. So that's why it's not like a 9 out of 10 for me. Was like, there were, looking back, there are a lot of things like that were totally irrelevant. And then the quick time, oh my god, the mid cutscene QTEs felt bad. I felt like as I was doing them, they were just covering the animation, and I was looking at them and not what was happening in the animation. And then they often weren't in rhythm with what was happening. Yeah, they don't matter, right? You could fail every single one and they don't matter. What else? There's something else that bothered me about them. What was it? I don't even remember. I don't remember. They weren't good. Yeah, I think the game is better with them switched off. I kept them on the whole time just to, like, you know, see what they are, but yeah, I just, they should have changed something. There were a few of them where they were done the right way, where the scene is happening and then they zoom in and like you're about to punch and it slows down so you're able to do the QTE but not like lose visually what's going on in the scene. Those felt good. Those felt good. There were a few of them. Everything else was just like, it was overlaid over the animation, and I just was like paying more attention to those than the animation itself. So, you know, but those are the spots where I missed out. I think overall it was still a good experience though. I would say just like turn off the QTEs and don't worry about your dialogue choices at all, except for like when they make you choose characters or stuff at the end where you're like very clearly affecting how the story is going to play out. I think they did more of that at the end because they could afford to, but outside of that, you know, it was okay. It was okay. After the playthrough saw multiple outcomes and nothing major changes. That's what I'm saying. Like, in hindsight, you look back and you're like, well, the game makes you want to replay because they make you feel like stuff is going to change. But then when you watch other people play it, nothing changes. So I feel like if you play a second time to see how things change, you would feel scammed. You know, I think most people would end up feeling scammed by the second playthrough. Not the first, but by the second. So, you know, not money scam, but you know what I mean? Like they build you up to think that things are going to be super different, like other visual novels. So I hope that if they get enough money from selling this game, which it seems like their sales are really high, I hope they can do more and maybe delve more into the actual like visual novel format where things do potentially change around a lot. That would be nice. That would be nice. But I think they would need a lot of budget. So I don't know how much this cost them up front to make. Seemed pretty expensive, but it also wasn't super long, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. They got that Twinkie money. Yeah, I wonder how much Hostess paid them. I'm so curious. You can eat those Twinks. I think that was the best part. Can someone get that voice line? Does the voice line just exist anywhere? Let me see. We need it. We need it as a redeem. You gonna eat those Twinks? Let's see if it's on YouTube. Surely. Why is it shitty quality? Wait, I kind of like the shitty quality. Wait, do you guys like the shitty quality? I think it's kind of funnier like that. Sounds like it's over like a radio. go. I've sent it over. Is there one with better quality? Oh, there we go. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's better shitty, actually. In hindsight. You're gonna eat those drinks over? I think it's better when it's poop. Poop quality. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Oh, it's good. Okay. I've sent it in. I've sent it in. Oh, McDonald's drive-through audio. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, more than radio. It sounds like straight up just person on the machine. I'm pulling up to the check-in window. But it's good this way. It's good. It's perfect. Anyway, what do I feel like I'm... Maybe not. I feel like I'm lagging a little bit. Am I? Maybe not. You know what it is? My mouth is moving on the tiniest delay. 0.3 seconds. And you would never notice it. But like, do you see it? See it? The tiniest bit. Why though? It's not that it's like laggy, it's that everything is slightly delayed. What is that from? I don't really have anything open. OBS is eating a third of my CPU right now. And it's eating like... Why is it... I don't have anything crazy on the scene, do I? Why OBS doing that? I mean, that shouldn't cause the lag, though. Nothing's running, like, at a super crazy... Let me see. My CPU's being hacked. No, there's nothing crazy on this scene at all. Huh. Well, solar storm. Oh, is anyone in North America able to see the Northern Lights? Did they show up for you? Because there was a pretty... Is it still going? I don't know if it's still going. There's like a strong magnetic storm, and a huge amount of the U.S. you could look up and see the Northern Lights. And it wasn't, maybe not like the blue banded kind of look that you're used to, but there was still like color and then, you know, some things going on. For some people it's more reddish. South there's city pollution in Colorado. Yeah. It was hard because I know a lot of areas, yeah, it was like very cloudy, so not everyone was able to see them properly, but yeah. Been raining all week. It's been great. Yeah. It's as far south as Oklahoma. Yeah, I saw. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yours was red and green. Yeah, I saw a lot of pictures showing it being kind of reddish. Let me see. Hold on. Northern Lights. Let me see if there are any pictures. Yeah, very red and green. It's kind of a tiny picture, but this is what it looked like in most areas from what I understand. Like this. Grimace. Grimace. Looking like that. Very interesting. Very cool. Very cool. You got cool pics of the camera, but your eyeballs did not perceive? Yeah, depending on where you are, I think, and you know, what the cloudiness level is like where you are. They looked pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. Big old magnetic storm. You know what that means? You know what that means? We're all gonna die. The rapture is soon. It's soon. It's soon. Very, very soon. What the fuck is this? Sorry, I was checking Twitter to see if anyone, like, posted it, because I know, like, a couple friends posted. And I see a picture. It's Wubby sitting down with his leg out, and someone's got a camera on him, and Charlie is there doing what looks like tattooing Wubby's leg. What the fuck is this? I hope it's staged. He does have a stencil for the tattoo on his leg, though. What is this? Hold on. Look. Oh? What's happening over there? And then Carlos, do you guys remember Carlos? Carlos the gardener? Carlos replied, said, hard to get a tattoo with a boner. Fucking Carlos. Okay, Carlos. Okay. Well, we hope your leg's okay. Stay safe, buddy. Why didn't it play your TTS? I'll read it out. You said, I had a great night catching some northern light action. My work's in the sticks, so no light pollution. Ooh. Fourth quarter year, no Golden Corral. Even skipped the free Veterans Day meal. I'm committed. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. Thank God, dude. Stay safe, buddy. Stay safe out there. Golden Corral, you know, they try to tempt you with the chocolate fountain. And what they don't tell you is that you're going to become the chocolate fountain, okay? If you keep eating there. So just be careful, all right? Be careful. Stay safe. Wubby has poop leg. I'm just going to post that as a reply. I'm going to post that as a reply. Hold on. Hold on, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna say my chat waited. I really like the way it cropped it. How it looks like just a little shitty. Look at this. When it like expanded the text. That's good. We'll leave that there. It's perfect. Well, get well soon. Get well soon, Wub. Ooh, I've got good news for this person. They said, hi, new here, found you through Seance. Ooh, really appreciate your playstyle with puzzles. Any idea when you may finish it? Would love to try and catch it live. Well, actually, I already did. I locked in and I sat down for like 14 hours and finished it. So the VOD exists. When more puzzles? I gotta find good games. A lot of puzzle games I've already played, or they're like basic ass puzzle games, and I want more narrative heavy mystery types of puzzle games and things, you know? It's hard because I want to scratch that that blueprints itch, which I kind of got from Seance. It did scratch that itch a little bit, which is why I liked it so much. But, you know, we need more games like that. You just gotta finish blueprints. I did. I just didn't post anything about it. I have disjointed footage, and I'm having my editor work on other stuff. At some point, I'm gonna throw it at him and be like, can you put these together? There are plenty of parts where I didn't record because I was just like doing runs over and over to try and remove crates from the tunnel, you know, like shit like that, to try and get like some really specific things going on. But yeah, so I didn't sit there and like sit down and film 10 hours of that kind of shit. But yeah, it'll get posted eventually, I'm sure. The ending arc of Seance is awesome. I really liked that game. So you guys know I complain about like writing in games a lot, and it's not that I'm a hater. I just read a lot, and you know, I just have preferences. And I feel like a lot of writing in games, especially, and in movies, less TV shows, more movies, gets so predictable that it gets boring, you know? Like you want to be excited when you set up yourself to sit there and be entertained by a game, you know, like that's all. So whenever a game does have really good writing like that, it's so great. It's so great because it feels more rare. And I feel like Seance did give me that. It did give me that. There were things that I could foresee a little bit vaguely, but no specifics. Absolutely, like no specifics. Which is a sign of really, really, really good writing. Blueprints as well. Blueprints, we had no idea where that was going to go. As it was going, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know, and it wasn't because they were just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. It all tied back into itself. It all did. Same thing with Seance, you know. So, yeah. I'm just looking for more games with that. With the juice, man. With the juice. Outer Wilds had it as well, where I felt like the writing was really nice. The way they took you along the story in an environmental way, and you can kind of do it in whatever order, was really nice. There were some things that we kind of could predict a little tiny bit, but overall, not that much. Some of you may know I was disappointed with the ending of the game. I won't talk about the end because I don't want to spoil it. But I felt like it was looking for me to feel like, oh my God, this moment is so profound. But that moment didn't feel profound. The rest of the game outshone that, like, to a crazy degree. You know what I mean? So I was just like, oh, I wish they did something like a little different here. Just so that it, like, stands up to how great the rest of it all was, you know? But it doesn't mean it was bad. It's just that the other stuff was so good that it was like, how do you even match that, you know? You know? But yeah, so I'm just looking for more narrative-based, story-based games that are that good. Which is just, it's tough because it's like, yeah, give me the 1%, top 1% of novels so I can read them, right? That's what I'm asking for, but in game form, which is like, you know, if it's really good, there's a good chance I've played most of those things because we've all heard about it at this point. We've all heard what the really, really good ones are, you know? The DLC had a more profound ending. I agree. The base game ending was all right. The base game itself was what was good. The ending was like whatever. But then the DLC, that was the one for me. That if you take the game as a whole with the DLC included and pretend it's not DLC, pretend it's just part of the game and go through the ending with that, then I'm like, okay, now it's like perfect, you know? So, yeah, if you play Outer Wilds, definitely play it and beat it without the DLC at first, but you have to play the DLC to make the game what it's supposed to be. Like, you just have to. You just have to. But, yeah. Speaking of novels going places, I need RF Kong to write for a video game. Ooh, yeah. There's a lot to be said about like bringing in book writers, novel writers, or just writers in general for games. So I think AAA studios obviously do bring in writing staff, But a lot of the time they're just trying to make like the story that someone else wanted fit and make sense. One of the reasons I liked Lost Odyssey so much was because they brought in a novelist, a really popular, well-known, legendary novelist, and were like, can you write stuff? And the dude worked on all of it, but the specific writing that he like penned himself and no one else touched was a bunch of short stories that are like you kind of reclaiming someone's memories. And those were so good that it like people are like sobbing as they play the game because they're reading these short stories. You know? It's so good, man. So I feel like that's it's hard because these people are expensive, but there's a lot of benefit you can get from just bringing in like a writer, you know. Games typically led by developer, not writer. Yeah, it seems like the order of operations for a lot of games is dev makes game, dev decides story, and then if there's a writer, dev is like, this is the story, make it good, right? Fix up the writing. Make it make sense. Outer Wilds was so good because it was a collaboration. They brought in a writer pretty early and they worked on it together. And sometimes the writer would be like, we need to change this because the way they find this out is not impactful, you know? And they would change how the game plays so that you learn a thing in a certain order to suit what the writer asked for. Which I think a lot of indie studios don't do. They don't really do that. They either don't have a writer or they just bring that person in and are like, I made the game. Can you please make the dialogue make sense? You know? And they're not really going to like go back and forth and spend all that time doing that because it is a waste of time in their eyes, I think from their perspective for sure. But yeah, Outer Wilds absolutely did that and it did so much back and forth. And you know, it was part of why it came out so good because it was hugely collaborative between their writer and them. So, you know, not always possible for indie studios. Again, so much of this is like budget dependent. So I don't really, even if I'm critical of a game's writing, if it's like from an indie studio especially, I'm not going to be like, that means it's bad. It's more, oh, I wish they could have hired a writer. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time they have something really good going and then they just don't have it like fixed up the way it needs to be, or it doesn't fit with the game itself and the pacing, you know? If a novel series like The Witcher gets its own video game, what novel do you think would make a good game? That's tough. It's really difficult because a lot of the games, the novels that I like, it's hard to imagine them having like too much action in them because the interesting parts of the game or the books rather are like social moments, tense social moments, things like that. And a lot of the stuff I'm a big fan of I don't think would work well as games. Like I like Pratchett novels. Those would not work. They'd be like a weird Kingdom Hearts feeling bullshit cobbled together game if they tried to make gameplay for those, you know. Like that wouldn't work. I don't know. I think a simple and safe choice would actually just be like all of the R.A. Salvatore novels actually, because his shit's in the D&D universe and specifically reads out like a D&D campaign that was played through with some writing on top. I think if they take his shit and make those into proper adventure games, kind of like Witcher, I think those could turn out really well. Really well. Because a lot of the writing in those books is not that crazy interesting. It's like they're kind of good. But if you have a vivid imagination as you're reading, you can visualize heavily, they're a lot better because he writes out a lot of detail in fight scenes and things. And when I read that, I'm like, this would be better if this were just a choreographed sequence that you could watch, you know, like, because some people can read, but they don't visualize as heavily as others. So I think that highly affects how much you like those types of books. But I think his books would work well as games for sure. They're literally in they're published by Wizards of the Coast, you know, and they're like within the D&D universe. So he does write combat well. Yeah. Which is what I like about them. That's why I kept reading those. But yeah, his shit could be good, which they did. They did like, like the Icewind Dale game a long time ago, if anyone remembers playing Icewind Dale. And they had, which was like a CRPG, an old clunky CRPG. And they had, at the same time, you also have his novels within the Icewind Dale. And, you know, so there's like some beams crossing there, but it's not the same as a straight up book about his characters, you know, like going into a game. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to decide who would be good. I don't know. I'm looking. I have a bookshelf to my right, and I'm like looking at it. So many of these I feel like wouldn't translate well into games, or maybe they would, and I just am not a person who can imagine a piece that's already complete in my head changing formats. I don't know. Aragon. Didn't they make a game? Hold on, I gotta check. I feel like they made a shitty game. Did they? Yeah, third person video game on PS2, made by Stormfront Studios. Oh, it was on Xbox and Xbox 360 as well. Oh, it looks like ass. Oh. In-game screenshot from the PC version. Oh. Oh, dude. Wait, it kind of looks awesome. Let me show you. Let me show you. Hold on. That actually looks like my kind of game, dude. Look at those. Oh, it's based on the movie. Ew. Okay. Dude, look at the portraits, man. Yikers. Yeah, it's literally movie game slop. Ah, man. I think, you know, Aragon series, good series, good books. Obviously, in hindsight, you look at especially the earlier books and you read through them and you're like, holy shit, this was written by a teenager, because it literally was. So I give it so much slack for that. But I think there's a lot of charm to them because of that, because I find that the main author wrote a stupid teenager really well. Right? I think he absolutely had this dude. I think he wrote the main character so well. And the choices he was making and how he was going about things, absolutely. He made stupid cook decisions, but you can tell where his heart was, where his mindset was, why he thought it was like the right move to do all these things, his internal struggle. Like, it was all written really well and felt very realistic. Like, this is actually what a teenage boy of this age would do in this situation, most likely, you know? I feel like he wrote the character writing was so good. You know, so I think there's so much potential if they just pretended the old movie and game didn't exist to make a really good movie and a really good game. It just sucked that, you know, it turned out so bad. It turned out so bad. It's so shit. It's so shit. And the thing is, I don't know, you know, with the way contracts and things work, I don't know that they could ever go back and revisit the idea. If they'd be allowed to go do a new one. There are some media contracts that exist where you can never do that, or you can only with written permission of XYZ people, and sometimes those companies don't exist anymore, or the people are just like, no, they just don't want to. Stuff like that. And that makes it really complex. So I don't know if they are in a position where they could do that. I would hope so. I would hope so, because I think genuinely, like, those books could get a really good reboot. I just don't know that any director would want to put money into rebooting, you know, because it's hard to take an IP that flopped in all senses outside of the books and be like, oh, it's good now though, and like convince people, you know? So I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think they have probably the best potential to actually be made into a good series. It's just not. I don't think it's gonna happen. Books are good, but damn, the movie's such a stinker. Like Artemis Fowl. Oh my god, yeah, I remember really liking a lot of the older Artemis Fowl books, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know. I don't know. But looking at my shelf, yeah, a lot of these, I don't know if they could be made into games very well. You guys ever read through like the Wheel of Time series? All the Robert Jordan stuff. I think they did like a show. There was a show they did a couple years ago. I never watched it. I never watched it. But I felt like there could be some really interesting, like if we're talking about what could be turned into a game, that could be good. I think there was a game. I just doubt it was good. I really doubt it was good. Also, once Sanderson picked up the writing, I was just like, I don't hate Sanderson's writing. I hate the way he writes certain little things. Overall, he's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I liked some of the earlier writing better, for sure. For sure. So the show was okay. Oh, you watched it, Garrick? Yeah, I never even looked at it. I was just like, I think these should stay books in my mind. You know? I think. Oh yeah, they were always on your backlog, never got to it. You should. They're not hard to read. I find they're like pretty light, so it's easy to sit there and crunch through them pretty well. Boomer Thursday, are you calling us millennials boomers at GEEGA? Do you think like, do you think I'm young? What do you mean us millennials? Like I'm on the other side of the age spectrum from you or something? I agree, Garrick. I agree. Yes, Anderson reverts progress and evolution of his characters from book to book, kind of soft resets them to build them up again in the new book. I agree. Something weird with the way he does it, and like this is why I actually really like R.A. Salvatore's writing. There are certain things where I'm like, especially like the romance parts. I'm like, a lot of this we could do without, with how it's written. But he's able to get like 50, 60 books with one character and a party of others, and they all progress the whole time and go through different arcs, and he does not soft reset them. Ever. They are constantly changing, ever changing. They are getting older. They start acting older as they get older. You know, all of that. And that was something that I did like about his writing. Is they properly, like he properly kept all that going. He said, I love his worlds and systems, but also he just annoys me in the back of my head. Yeah, right? It's hard to describe with him. There are a lot of people that like parts of his writing, and then overall there's something about it that just makes him so mad. I don't know. For me, the way he... I don't know. Any of the romance scenes feel something about them is just like, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel well written. The way things happen. I think it's just him writing women, but it's not just women. Sometimes the way the dudes act are also like, yeah, it feels a little forced. We're not even talking about Sanderson flaws, but him too. but yeah, for Salvatore, it feels a little forced. And then it feels also rushed. or not, I don't know how to describe this. They'll be doing their thing, and these two characters will be interacting, and everything will be normal. And then at the end of the day, they'll be sitting around the campfire on third watch, and they sit and talk for 10 minutes, and that is the scene where romance and anything related to it happens, or discussions about it, and the character has these thoughts and feelings. And then the next day, they clean up the camp, and they go off on their merry way, and there's like no thought or mention of it. You know what I mean? It's very like compartmentalized and segmented out. And then it's like, okay, now there's a fight scene. Now they're trudging through. Don't forget, they're trudging through snow. Oh, it's so snowy. Can't help but only think of the snow. You know, and it's like something about it feels like, did he even want to write this? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he did, but it feels like it's just like on the side and in its own bubble. And then occasionally they're trudging through the snow and they're like, by the way, this character remembered that he liked that other character anyway. You know what I mean? Something about it feels very, you could cut those things out and like the rest of the story would feel almost exactly the same in a way. And it feels like a lot of the romance stuff going on in those books didn't really affect too many character decisions, just a couple basic things. And I think that's also what makes it maybe feel unreal, is because like when people like people, especially when they're in that honeymoon phase, like it's a little bit earlier, people will do stupid shit for the other person, right? They'll go out of their way to do crazy shit. And I don't see any of that in the way that's written, right? Like there's no weight to it. It doesn't seem like it affects how they act or what they do very much. So that's my complaint. That's my big complaint there. But then the dude writes combat, and you're like, wow, this is a fully choreographed fight scene, you know, that I can imagine. It's like, I don't know. Everyone has their strengths, right? Everyone has their strengths. Ooh, a game set in Shannara could work. I like a lot of Terry Brooks novels. I do. I like the picture of him on the back of his novels. Have you seen them? Hold on. If you have any of his older books, oh, I don't know if I could find it. If you have any of his older books, certain editions, they have this little picture of him like smiling, because a lot of older books used to do that, right? They'd have a little portrait of the author. Some still do. And I remember one of them just having this funny little picture of him that I liked. I don't know. But those would be good. Those would be good. Contrary versus Driz battle scenes are crazy. Yeah, I think I liked Contrary. He was one of my favorite characters. I don't know. Here's what I liked about his writing. I liked the way he set characters up, and I liked the lines the characters spoke. But then the thing I didn't like about his writing overall was, someone kind of mentioned it earlier, all the characters spent so much time in their own heads thinking. So much time in their own heads thinking, and you could hear each character building themselves up as what they thought they were, and it started to get a little annoying. And then you just have that always happening, because that's just how he writes, right? He just writes the character's thoughts more than the character's actions. And that gets a little, you know, at a certain point you're like, can you stop thinking about it and just like do some shit, you know? That's where the annoyance of this book's kind of come in, I think, for a lot of people. I think I think if he did just a little less of that and paced things a little faster and let them just kind of like do their shit, show less than tell, you know, I think it'd be a lot better. Personally, I think it'd be a lot better. Almost always skipped his monologues. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like every chapter opens with, he's sitting there and he's like, I'm so cool and I'm so different. Here's my 3 paragraphs about what I'm thinking about right now. And I know the idea was that it was supposed to feel like a bit of a diary, right? It's supposed to feel like a bit of a diary. And there were times where there were actual diary entries where the character is talking in first person to himself, written form, you know? But those are things that you like write for yourself. When you sit there and you think, you're thinking for yourself. When you sit there and write a diary entry, you're writing it for yourself, right? It's not for anyone else. So then when someone else sits there and reads someone else's diary, a lot of the time it feels really like self-important and kind of annoying to read through, because you're like, you know, when it's presented to you like, oh, you want to read this, then you're like, I don't care about what this guy thinks to this extent. This is like, you know, 20 pages of like him monologuing in his head, you know? And it feels like a little pretentious. But when you think of it as like, no, this is just this own dude's diary. It's not really for you to read. It's just you are reading it, but it was him thinking for himself. It's a little easier to, I don't know, digest when it's like that. That's my thought. And that's how I was able to read all that shit and be like, okay, it's fine. You know, and not get like mad at it. But I don't know. Overall, I read it for the action. Read it for the action. Let me see, is my game downloaded? I gotta say, you know, I've been downloading it. I'm supposed to play Kiwami today. It's about halfway done. It's a really big download. Really, really big download. I'm still gonna play it. It's not but, and then I'm not going to. It's just, it's gonna take time, so I can't open it immediately. I do have a sponsor for it. I didn't think I was gonna get it, so I was thinking I would play it a bit later. I always wanted to play this one. And then they kind of like last minute came through and were like, hey, do you want to do it? Because they're releasing a Switch 2 edition. That's why. I was like, oh, I was going to play it, you know, on PC. But they were like, no, we got a Switch 2 edition. Do you want to do this campaign? And I was like, okay, I'll just move it up and try it earlier. All right. But the problem is I was only given the game key like today. So I couldn't sit there and, you know, pre-download like the day before, you know, like I usually like to. So it's just sitting here downloading. And a lot of Switch downloads take time, you know? It's not like on Steam where I can just let that shit go at breakneck pace, go as fast as it wants. So, you know, I was sitting there before the stream and I'm like, oh, yes, the game key. And I threw it in there and then I watched it tick up and I was like, oh. Oh. So I'm just letting it go. As soon as it's done, I want to open and play it. But yeah, they did like it's a full remake of a bunch of it. It looks better, sounds better, etc., etc. Have you played it before? Not these ones. I've played bits of other Yakuza games. I've mostly watched other people play them. So I'm very familiar with parts of the series. What was the one we played? It was when they changed the name to Like a Dragon. We played one of the more recent ones. I did some on stream. I was sponsored to play the first day of it, and then I continued it after. It was really good. Fuck, what was the name of it? Which one? Because there are like a billion games. And a billion re-releases. Oh, Ishin. Not Infinite Wealth. No, the one before that. Like a Dragon, Ishin. That one was really good. Really, really, really good. And that was the first one that I personally played all the way through. I had a really good time with it. So I was like, yeah, I want to kind of go back and like play some of the early ones. And I saw Kiwami and I was like, okay, this is kind of like perfect timing, you know? And then, yeah, they came through and they were like, by the way, we're releasing it like, you know, in a couple days. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'll do it. They're remaking 3 next year. Yeah, so they have a bundle of 1 and 2. Hashtag ad. I do have a code for this, or not a code, a link for this. But they do have a 1 and 2 bundle, which they sent to me. So the question is, so they said I could play the first or the second, or like an hour of both, you know, however I want to for the sponsored segment. Do you guys have a preference on which one I play? I think it probably makes sense to play the first one because it's the same character between the two, right? I think. So I was thinking I would do one. They're in different engines, but one's better to start with. Yeah, the 2 looks very different from 1. You could tell they were remade at different, in different ways. If you haven't played 0, that'd be optimal. Yeah, I didn't play 0. Well, actually, no, I played a bit of it, but I watched another friend's, like, entire playthrough. So I ended up not playing it myself and just watching. So I'm familiar with 0. But yeah. 2 involved a different combat engine. Yeah. It looks very different. Kiwami, then 0, then Kiwami 2. Really? Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll definitely do 1 then. But yeah, I'm downloading the bundle right now. A lot of people were saying that, like, this is the place to start if you haven't played any, is to start with Kiwami. Which I guess is why they kind of, like, remade a lot of this. 0 after Kiwami because the emotional beats mean little if you don't know the characters from 1. Yeah. You know, to be fair, when I was watching bits of it, there were absolutely scenes that I was like, I don't understand the significance of this because I don't know who this is. For sure. You know, for sure. So that's kind of what I wanted out of playing this, is to, like, know what the hell I watched, if that makes sense. You know? Because there was a lot that I just didn't really, like, I kind of was grasping, but yeah, the weight of it was very, you know, I could tell it was not hitting me the same way it was hitting other people. So that's why I watched a good amount of it, but I didn't watch, like, the entirety of the playthrough, so I could still go play 0 on my own and have a good time going through and not feel like I saw every little thing, you know? But yeah, what's the canon play order? What's the best order? So we have Kiwami 1, then 0, then Kiwami 2. Then what do you do? Just 3 right after that? They are remaking 3, which is good. So if I get through these 2, then that one will be coming out. When did they say? Hold on, they told me when. Yakuza Kiwami 3 Dark Ties is the next mainline game in the series. Following Kiwami 2, it's releasing February 13th on Nintendo Switch 2 and other platforms. Okay. You're saying playing 3 is rough? Yeah, but it's not going to be because they're doing this. So it'll feel at least a bit better, is what I'm thinking. So I'll wait for that. I think I'll play these 2. It sounds like I have a lot of time to play these 2. And then, yeah, later I'll be able to pull up 3. You would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 6, 7, Gaiden 8. But it might be controversial. Big drama in the Yakuza play order community. You sound like me when I'm telling people what order to read Discworld novels in. Yeah. Ishin would be first since the Meiji era. That's the thing. I actually really like that my first, like, full playthrough of any of these was Ishin, because it is the, like, ultimate prequel, because it was so far back and has nothing to do time period wise with the mainline games. So I think that's a really good starting point for me. So my start was with that officially, and then I have seen, like, bits of all of the other games. But that's why I was, like, not feeling weird about going and playing through all of that. So yeah. Yep. Kiwami 3 will be a lot better than 3. OG3 is very dated. Yeah, that's what I was seeing. So when they sent over the notes, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you can mention Kiwami 3 soon. I was like, thank God, because I've been looking at what they all look like and you know what it's like to play through all of them if I wanted to go back, and I was looking at 3. It looks like 3 and 5 are tough right now, but I'm also someone who loves older games, so I don't think it'll be that bad for me. I go back and play a lot of, like, really old games in their full jank, and I have a great time, so I don't I don't think I'll have an issue. It's more so if it can even like run okay. You know, that's what matters. It'll be interesting to see how you like the stories because you're more critical than most streamers. Yeah, I like the writing in games like this a lot more typically. I do. But I think that's because the setup of scenarios of like what it's about gives a lot of room for the writing to go in good directions. I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. Oh, Infinite Wealth of Pirate Yakuza ads are still up on tour buses in Hawaii. Yeah. I've seen a lot of pictures of that stuff. Everyone takes pictures. They're like, oh my god, look, it's the boy, you know? They love it. Yakuza's super melodramatic. I like camp. I like melodramatic writing, all of that. As long as that's what it's supposed to be, that's intended, then I really like it. I don't like camp if it's not also funny. And the problem is a lot of the time, a lot of games and shows try to have like really campy writing, but it's not that funny. Like it doesn't actually hit, you know, then it becomes cringe, which is not the zone you want to be in, you know? And it's one thing if it's like intentional cringe, but a lot of the time it's kind of not, you know? So it just needs to hit the sweet spot there. But I feel like all the writing in Ishin I really liked, you know? I did, so we'll see. Devil May Cry perfect camp level. I know. How do you feel about pure camp characters in non-camp media? Fine if written well. That's one of those things. I feel like a lot of writing is like this. Could be totally fine if executed well. Could also be really bad. Could be horrible. And it depends on if that person is written as they're a real person who is campy versus like they only exist for stupid punchlines, you know? When everyone else in the show that you're watching or whatever it is feels like a real human character, and then there's this pure camp character and they don't even feel real, it feels out of place and I don't like it. But when it feels like that's a real person and they're just like that, then it's good. Because in real life, there are people that are like that. You know, you got Sandra at the office and she wears Christmas sweaters every day of December, you know, and you're like, hey, Merry Christmas. She'll be like, yeah, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Kwanzaa, if you celebrate, you know what I mean? Like there's that lady in every office. She's like, 'tis the season. You know, you know the lady I'm talking about. We've all met her. That lady is real and she's very campy and she can be written as a pure camp character because that lady exists in real life, okay? And you could just write a funny version of her. So that's I feel like campy characters can be really good if they just like, you know, are like a real trope. Ugh. I got new tea leaves, by the way. I've been drinking this tea. It's so good. It's so good. That lady's my aunt. Yeah, I mean, like my own mother is like a kind of campy person. Not really like standard humorous. She's very, I don't know if innocent is the right word. She does have morbid humor, things like that, but she's definitely not like, her delivery isn't that dry. And she's very, things that I don't think are that funny, she'll find really funny typically. I don't know how to describe it. And I don't want to call her unfunny because I wouldn't say she's like incapable of being funny. She still has like her good moments as well. Bubbly, is that the word? I don't know. She's a very sarcastic person. I don't know how to describe her. She's really good with kids. How do I say this? She's really good with kids. Naive? No, no, she's not naive. If you put her in front of a classroom, she will be their favorite person. And like, she'll make a joke that's like not that bad. She'll be like, that was so bad. And I'm like, it wasn't. She was like, I'm so bad. I'm like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? I'm like, that wasn't that crazy actually. And she's one of those. And I feel like whenever I see like a campy character in a show, they don't feel exactly like her, but they always have some traits and some lines they say that remind me a lot of her. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh God. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it. Yeah, there's no single word that makes it make sense, because any of the singular words I can think of have things about them that match what I'm thinking, but other things, like other connotations that don't match, you know? But she's very... I think the word I want to use is not the right word, but the word I want to use is lame, but that's not... That's like, that sounds so negative. You know what I mean? That sounds so bad. And that's not exactly... I don't mean it, like, negatively, though. Harmless? Oh, she is very harmless. Yeah, she's like an incredibly harmless person. She's a saint and means well all the time toward everyone forever. Yeah, good lame. Straight edge, a bit. I don't know. It's funny. You guys would find her funny. She is corny. She's really corny. Yeah. Very much so. So I beseech thee and ask you, bless a poor soul like me. I've tried the Hail Marys and Our Fathers, but nothing works. How do I get better at dry humor? Watch media with dry humor in it. Immersion? I don't know. I feel like if it's not your baseline state, you're just not going to be that person. And that's okay. You know? Yeah, moved to the UK. Actually, yeah, I watch British humor. I mean, a lot of my favorite stuff is like old British TV and movies and things. A lot of people will say Monty Python. I actually think you should watch The Blackadder. If you're gonna go for an older series, just go watch The Blackadder more so. Yeah, Keeping Up Appearances. I think God, what else? You should watch shows like QI. You should watch QI. You should watch a lot of... There are a lot of really good... Yeah, IT Crowd is a good one. Faulty Towers, for sure. But you should watch... those are scripted shows. Purely scripted shows. And I think watching something that's scripted is not going to make you get better at humor. You need to watch someone doing improv. Or, you know, just anything real and on the spot. And that's why I think something more like QI or that kind of stuff, those types of people in a room, that's where you should be. Sandy. Yeah, Sandy's so funny. So funny. But yeah, I think just watch like a shit ton of that type of media and just keep yourself immersed, man. Can you get better at improv without an improv class? Yes, but you still have to do it. Like, the benefit of an improv class is that you're sitting there doing improv. So you need to get that somewhere else. There aren't a lot of places I can think of that you can do that. If I'm trying to think. You need to practice, though. Like, literally everything in this world is hours put in equals skill output, right? So you need an outlet, I think. I would say hop into VR chat and go into random worlds and just talk to people and just try to be a little bit of a character. You, but with a little of a character overlay on top. And trying to make jokes and whatever, and you're probably going to feel weird, and you're going to cringe a lot. You know, VR chat, yeah, but what other options are there? You know, I'm trying to think of, like, Like where you can go to purely improv, and I'm like, role play servers of various games. I mean, this is where GTA RP comes in, right? But there are also tons of other games you can hop into for that kind of stuff. VR chat's a minefield. The thing is, if you're not streaming, none of that matters. You can just, you don't like the world you're in, you don't like the people that are there, okay, disconnect. Go find a new one. You know what I mean? Like there's, you don't lose anything. It's a little different if you're streaming, because yes, that's like your content or whatever. But if you're just going into like practice something, then who fucking cares, you know? That's just, you know. You could do it in Arc Raiders. You absolutely could. You absolutely could. My most fun times in Arc Raiders are me and friends hopping in and just like getting a little weird with people. Not like bad weird, but like funny weird with other players. It's just fun. It's just fun. Walnut and I, we would go in. He kept pretending that he didn't know how to play the game. So he'd run around and have absolutely no loot on him. And he would just be like, how do you, where do you pick up guns? And he would just keep like he absolutely knows how to play the game, but he would just keep doing this shit and seeing who bites, and then he would improv with them. That's the kind of stuff you can do to practice, I guess. As a person whose humor has been called too dry, don't immediately break when people don't get it. Stick to your guns, you'll get used to it. Yeah, you know, I think it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. For me, my delivery of everything is dry, and therefore everyone thinks I'm like serious and really care about everything I say all the time. If I'm sitting here doing a bit, I'm being critical of something or a sound. I'm just doing any segment of talking. At any point, you can ask me, do you actually like? Do you really care about this? And I'll probably be like, no, not at all. Haha. You know, like I'll be like, I don't give a fuck, actually. You know, because I don't. But I think, you know, the way I speak is like real dry, you know? So people think that you're like, you really care about what you're saying. You're really emotionally tied to the topic or the whatever it is, you know? So if you try to like practice dry humor and you become overall like good at dry delivery, not just in a humorous way, that's gonna happen a lot. That's gonna happen to you a lot. You know, it's just you do definitely get used to it. You do definitely get used to it. I think you have to spend a lot of time reminding people of things. When Mike does an angry bit and no one knows to laugh or cower. People think that Mike's genuinely mad about shit all the time. And he's not at all. He's not at all, you know? But yeah, that's the whole thing with dry humor is that, like, you're just tripling down on the serious level on everything. Seriousness is just paramount. Not laughing when you're saying certain things at all. Not giving any detectable anything in your voice to make the person think that maybe this is a bit. Maybe you're saying it just to say shit, not that you actually believe it or whatever, right? You can't let them detect that. Which means you're going to deal with so many people that don't fucking get it. And they're going to think that you mean every little thing that you say, you know? And it's, I don't know that it's always that good to try to get good at, honestly. You know? You should watch Late Norm. I think that'd be a good one. Late Norm. I think that would help. Having a naturally deadpan voice is real fun. Dude, you know what's funny? I think I come off so differently online than I do in person. I want to read you a message that a friend sent me. It was a friend that I met IRL a while back. And I want to read you this message because I read this and I was like, what? They said, so they came on a trip out here and hung out with them. And they were like, thanks so much for showing me around. I want you to know, I think you're so talented You have such a bright and engaging personality. It was so wonderful to see you in the way you really communicate. I read that. I was like, what? Bright and engaging. I was like, no one says that to me. But I think that's like, I'm very different online. Not that I act different. It's just like, if you're not seeing me moving around, then it's just different. I don't know, man. It was just funny. I read it and I was like, what? Thanks. Who's she talking about? A Disney princess? Yeah, that's I was like, right. But then I thought back to like shit we were doing. And I think it's because this person can tell when I'm joking. I think she like I think she can tell when I'm joking. So I think she just saw that I'm like very unserious all the time, but my delivery sounds serious. So we like, for example, at one point we were in an elevator and the elevator started moving and it was very slow. And me and her were in there and there were a couple other people. And I just looked at one of the other people and I was like, we're going to die in here. We're never getting out. And I'm like, I wasn't laughing. You know, I was just doing that. And she was like, I think it's because I'm just like always like that. And she was like, I don't know if the word bright is right for it, but the unseriousness, I guess. I don't know. Just remember reading it and I was like, bright. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Chat GPT words, right? If your face is really readable. I have a really animated way of physically expressing myself that I don't think gets picked up by the model at all. At all. There are little things that I will do here and there that I'm aware I'm doing, but you won't see it. It's just one of the things with VTubing that, like, just, I don't know. It's not just the hands, no. It's not the hands. I mean, like, literally my face. Literally my face. But I'm not always, like, moving bigly, you know what I mean? You have to, like, really overdo every little movement to have it show up. I just do a lot. It's just all more subtle, I guess, is the way to say it. So it's like you won't see it very much, you know? Stinks. But it's whatever. The hands do, you know, they're there though. I mean, I sometimes I'm talking to chat and I'm like physically my entire body's moving. I'm moving my arms. I'm flinging my arms around as I'm talking, and I'm making shapes with my hands as I talk. I'm describing something to you, and I'm making a shape in the air as if you can see it when you literally cannot. And I do it all the time. And I'm like, I really should just get like 3D tracked hands only so that when I'm using 2D, I just like, they're just hands on the screen or something. I really should. I really should. I thought you'd be streaming like this. Yeah, I have my moments where I'm definitely just sitting there and I'm like this, like my head is back and I'm just like not moving. Especially when I'm playing games, I kind of like freeze because I'm locked on the middle screen and I'm just not moving. And the thing is, my face is doing shit, but you're not going to see it because tracking isn't going to pick that shit up, you know? So I just look like I'm sitting there unmoving, but I'm actually like, I'm doing shit, you know? It's one of those things that I think VTubing suffers from a little bit. And anyone you see with a model that like is like moving around a lot or they seem very animated, they're like going out of their way to move their face a lot. They're really like, they look crazy. If you saw them IRL moving that way, you'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? You know? Because you have to like, if you want something to happen, you have to go 3 times over what you think you need to do to make it appear the way you want it. Would you want your tracking to be sensitive enough to pick up those body motions? No. When you make it more sensitive, what happens is the motion starts, like the start point appears quicker, but then the endpoint is reached faster. And I don't know how to describe this well, but basically it makes the tracking look a lot worse. It makes it look a lot worse. So you're better off overdoing your own expressions and movements and stuff. Because when you have that start point of an animation happen quicker, it means you're gonna reach that end point a lot quicker, and everything starts to look like very choppy in a way. It makes you look really choppy. So it could be rough. That could be rough. Buff makes crazy facial expressions with their face. Yeah, I mean, part of it is how your rigging is done, but also part of it is a lot of people animate faces to do things that like they, the person, aren't exactly doing. Like if I raise my eyebrows a little bit, you see my eyebrows are barely moving on this. This model isn't really okay. If I move them down, they move a lot. There's a lot of eyebrow movement. I could have made it so that when I move my eyebrows, they don't just move up, they like flatten out and they look more surprised and all this. And all it would be is just linked to the up and down that I'm doing IRL. But you can make the endpoint animation like way more crazy if you just want it to be like that, you know? But then it means every time you're talking, you raise your eyebrows a little bit, that it looks like it's like overdone, you know? So there's a lot of reason to not go for that as well. It's a weird thing because tracking doesn't work like one-to-one. It does exactly what you do. It's just like, if eyebrow up, do this. If eyebrow down, do this. If mouth X goes to -1, do this. Like, it's not literally tracking your movements in any exact way. It's just taking movements that you're doing, putting them on a range, on a little scale of like 0 for neutral, -1, and +1. And then it's taking a set of animations. And for those animations, you say, this is what 0 is, this is what -1 and +1 are. That could be like eyebrow up, eyebrow down, for example, or like neutral, 0 in the middle. And then you just liken those numbers to each other. You know what I mean? You just have like, if the eyebrow's doing this, then spit out this animation. So it's not in any way exactly doing what your face is doing, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's puppeting. So that's why there's like, you're so limited with a lot of stuff that your face might do naturally that doesn't really get picked up. When I talk, one of my eyebrows goes up a lot. I do that a ton. That does not get picked up by tracking. Unless both are moving up and down, it doesn't really like do them, or it'll like kind of move slightly, but it doesn't really, it's not enough to be noticed. So you will never see, like, that's the thing I do all the time. You will never see it. You just won't because they don't have separated left and right eyebrow movements. It's not a thing. It just ain't a thing. Not on 2D at least. Yeah, I literally do that. I also furrow my brow a fuck ton. So I have like when I'm thinking, my thinking face, I'm always like furrowing my brow really hard. Ever since I was like little, especially, my parents would like, they'd stick their fingers like right onto the space in between my eyebrows and like smooth out my skin. They'd go like, and like they like split my eyebrows apart with their fingers, because I'd always be like furrowing my brow and they'd be like, relax, your muscles relax, you know? And that's something that doesn't get picked up by models. That like the X value of your eyebrows, like whether they're in or out, left and right, that doesn't get picked up by models at all. So you're never going to see that from me, you know, stuff like that, you know? But yeah, she would always, my mom especially, she would always like take her finger and like, yeah, right, when people are like, unclench your jaw, sit up straight, for me it was like, stop furrowing your brow. That was a big one. I was just permanently like all the time. And it wasn't being angry, you know, it was just like thinking. It's just a thinking thing for me. And as a result, my muscles are so strong. I can move my eyebrows however I want. Very easily. Because my muscles go crazy. They go insane. You furrow so much you have the key to your brow now. Oh. Yeah, for me, thankfully, like, my neutral face is still, like, eyebrows pretty relaxed. Pretty nicely relaxed. So, thank God. And I think it's because I always got reminded to unfurrow my brow. That, like, I do think about it. I do think about it. But it still happens, man. It still happens. I remember Kuro showing how cranked up his model's smiling is because he's having resting bitch face otherwise. That clip is so funny. Have you guys... It's a clip of him showing his like IRL face next to his VTuber, and he looks like he's frowning because he's resting bitch face, but the model is smiling. And he was like, I have to do this, otherwise I look angry and people ask me what's wrong. Yeah. Most people have to do that because your lips, you know, everyone has different lip shapes, but a lot of people, your lips are where they are in the middle, and then the lines going out from the side are slightly downturned. So if like the VTube Studio tracking is looking at that and sees downturned, it goes, oh, frowning, you know? And it doesn't mean you actually are like super frowny, but you know, it just sees a downward line. That's it. It's not just like, oh, that's your natural mouth shape. It's actively frowning. Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like really sad, or it looks like that, like where your muscles are out and stuff. It doesn't see that though. It doesn't. So I don't know. I don't know. Kiwami's at 82%, by the way. BTW. BTW. I don't know. I think my neutral expression is like very truly neutral, except I do I have much of a frowny mouth? Hold on, looks itself. Not that much. Very little, very slightly. I think I look truly neutral. Oh, you have like a permanent smile face? I have one friend who's got like she has this permanently pleasant expression. Right? It's the opposite of resting bitch face. She always looks a little happy because the way her mouth shape is, the outer corners of her mouth are just like very upturned. And that is purely just the way her muscles on her face lay. She's not making any expression, but because of that, everyone perceives her as very pleasant all the time. So whenever we're out anywhere, people come up to her. They want directions, they ask her. They want to know, you know, oh, where do I find this thing? Oh, what time does this open? They always just beeline to her and ask her because she looks non-threatening, because she has like those little corners of her mouth going up. Kind of like a little cat mouth, you know what I mean? Like the :3, where like just the outer edge is like, meow. And that's just like what she looks like. So yeah, she just gets approached constantly. And she actually completely hates it because she's very introverted and, you know, does not want to be approached, but she gets approached all the time. All the time. Yeah, that one. That emote, you're furry, aren't you? That emote. Her face looks like that because, you know, if you cover the mouth, like the eyes on it don't really look that happy. They look pretty like neutral, normal. And that's her. Her entire face is like totally relaxed, but then her mouth just looks like, meow, a little bit. I feel like that's a curse if you're introverted. Ugh. Ugh. Your sister once said you were so chill, she assumed you were doing weed without anyone seeing. You know, oh, I'm gonna call out a friend, Joel. Joel's face. When you see Joel, he looks like a generally happy, pleasant, chill guy. He literally looks like the chill guy meme. You know, the little guy just standing there with his hand in his pocket. Just like a little pleasant, having a good time. Could be high, could not be, you know? Like, that's what Joel looks like all the time. He looks so happy. And he looks like he's having a great time. And then he opens his mouth and he's like, what? And you're like, ah. But to be fair, I think he's another person kind of like myself that comes off really different IRL versus online. When you meet him IRL, so pleasant. So pleasant. Having a great time. So chill. He could say the same thing, but it sounds like way different when you see it. You know what I mean? He has a superhero voice, kind of. Yeah, I think if he voice acted, he could actually do really well. He seems to be constantly complaining about anything. He's just like me. We're the thing is, one of the reasons we get along well is we're both the same type where we complain for fun and we don't actually really care about it. We're truly doing it for fun, you know? And like, and I get that, he gets that. I have like a lot of people that I've known for a long time that get that. And it's just like, it's just fun to just like say shit just cause, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you really care about it. But I don't think everyone does that. And that's why some people will be like, oh my God, and they take it very seriously. You know? Love it. Love and hate how good your divorced parent bits are. I was saying to him, we have a couple ideas, but one of mine was, have you seen that the current hotness in Minecraft right now is chained life, which is pretty much just playing Minecraft, but you're chained to someone. You're stuck. And I wouldn't call it chained together mod because that makes it sound like there's some gameplay related to chained together, but it's not like a parkour thing or anything like that. It's literally just you playing with someone and you have to like get out of each other's way and shit. And you're trying your best to not die. Trying your best to not die. I was saying to him, I was like, we should do that. And the thing is, imagine the title and thumbnail and how crazy it would go. How crazy it would go if the title and thumbnail was like playing Minecraft chained together, but it's like a divorced couple, right? Because that's the joke, because people still believe that's like a real thing. And I was saying to him, I'm like, we say out loud all the time on stream it's just a bit. But I was like, why not just slap that shit on a YouTube thumbnail and let it ride, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would go crazy. Yeah, bitch ex-wife simulator type shit. That's what I'm saying, dude. My God. I don't think I could put bitch in the title, but I wish I could. But it could be so funny. Just let that shit go, you know? At some point, you just gotta admit, like, people are gonna think this is real no matter what, so you might as well just lean into it, you know? You just have to at some point. I don't know. We're your two favorite collab partners because we both have such different energy, and the way we express that is incredible. I think when he and I are in the same room, we create a black hole. I think that's really all it is. It's just a vibe black hole, and it just, oh, man, it's a singularity. I don't know, man. Retrospective shippers going crazy. I don't. The thing is, both of us would flame people for it, so we haven't really had issues with it. People actually used to be like that a long time ago when we were both a lot smaller. We had smaller chats. There were some weirdos that were getting kind of odd about it, and we just flamed them, and they stopped. It was like really fast that got shut down. So I'm not too worried about that. Can't ship someone that divorced already. That's how the bit started. Because it wasn't a bit at first. Like, there was nothing, the whole divorce thing was never mentioned. He would call everyone like his wife, you know, or whatever, and everyone would be like, haha, yay, and that was the bit. And then there were people that started getting weird about it with him and certain friends, me being one of them. So then we turned it into, no, we're divorced. To like, as like a way to kind of stave that off a little. And then that just became the bit, you know, since then. But it actually was to keep people from being weird at first. That was like the initial thing. But yeah, if anyone shows up and they're weird, we're just like, okay. All right, buddy. They get flamed and then they get upset. Because when we flame people, they think it's like so real and we hate them and, you know, whatever. So they stay away. It works out. And his community is keeping the bit healthy with the kid thing. Okay, but you can't deny that design actually does look like if you smash the two of us together and make like a VTuber baby. It's true. It's so funny. It's so funny how like accurate that is. People were making memes about it and stuff. It's just funny, man. She's as tall as a small child. No, she's like 4'8", and a small child would be like 2 feet tall. Actually, Repo Jesus. Did you see the Repo Jesus art? Hold on, Fish posted it somewhere. Here it is. Did you guys get to see Repo Jesus? Hold on, hold on. Here it is. Oh, it's so good. Repo Jesus. I felt so bad because the thing is, like, every time I die, I feel terribly for everyone. Because, like, you know, I know everyone's just, like, fucking around, not really caring about how the run goes. So I'm like, okay, as long as I live, I can, like, keep the run alive should everyone die. But sometimes shit happens and I die early and I'm like, uh-oh. Because sometimes it's fine, but they can't always, like, lock in when they need to. So I feel bad. And thus I rose on the third day. Something, something, Repo Jesus. Yep. Now Spelling left you alone. The clip of them all exploding. I watched it back like 4 times, dude. It was so funny. And the thing is, like, that thing that came out of the egg was screaming. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, obviously this is bad. You should throw it.
Jeff, is that you? Look, I need to tell you something. They're plotting to keep you down here, man. We gotta get you out.
Jeff can't hear you. He can't hear you. Your words shall never reach Jeffington. They shall not. Ooh, guys, huge. We're at 91%. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are we a cult then? I always wanted to be in a cult. No. No. That's crazy. For legal purposes, we're not, you know. No. Seeing you mostly through collabs, feel like Alma tries her best. Absolutely, when people need to lock in, I think they try. But, you know, sometimes your best isn't good enough when you're faced with, like, 3 bullshit repo enemies. It's like the old man, something that reaches underneath tables to grab you, and, like, Slender Baby, you know? It's a little tough. I need excitement after the collab ended. Yeah. I wanna do more. Something that I always wanted to get us doing, like whether we were actually in the same group or not or whatever, I always wanted us to just be doing more frequent collabs. That's all. Just very simple, more frequent collabs. But what we would do is we would do collabs here and there, but we'd play one game and we'd play for like 6 hours together, 8 hours in one go. And I would be like, this could be 3 streams. You know what I mean? I'd be like, why don't we all, you know, play something else and then hop over to this for a little bit? You know, it's just like, right? Because I feel like we would beat some of those games to death a little bit and people would tire out of it very quickly. So I always wanted to get us more in the habit of like doing shit more often, but not doing it as long, you know, in one go. And that way everyone's a bit more fresh for it, I feel, and not on autopilot 5 hours in. Because that's definitely how we are after a certain amount of time. So, yeah, I feel like we're doing a better job at that recently. And everyone wanted to do that. They agreed. It's just a matter of who's going to schedule it, who's going to do it, you know? You know? I was talking a few weeks back about getting a new Minecraft server up and running. Yeah, she has a plan to have like a normal ass server, which I think is really good. I think we've needed that for a while. I think we needed that for a long while. We have the same person working on our servers, and he's got a day job. For the record, like he has a full-time normal job. So he's doing his best to work on shit. I know for mine is definitely a more involved project. Like there's more stuff that we're making custom for sure, and I'm trying to bring other people on to spread out his workload a little bit. Like the building and stuff like that, I really don't need him to be the specific person doing it. So I'm looking into folks that are gonna come in and like, you know, make a lot of the builds for us and all that. So that should help. That should help. Hopefully that, you know, takes the workload off of him a little bit. And then mine should be a short term server. It shouldn't be super long. So we'll see. Are you Mouse talking about doing a double debut? When is that happening? Well, she already debuted her outfit. Because we were originally planning that double debut to happen like May or June or so. And then she was supposed to have the model already, you know, out and debuted, and then she was going to play Bloodborne. Yeah, it's not her Bloodborne outfit. How do I say this? Like, it turned into that functionally, but it was our double debut outfit. And then, like, everything is shuffled, you know, like, for good reason. So it's been weird to figure out, like, how to do it. But yeah, shit happened, right? So yeah, the projects got pushed back heavily because of just everything that was going on. And we weren't sure, like, at first I was leaving and she, you know, at the time was not when I declared that I was. So we were like, how do we do this then? I was like, you know, we both on the personal level were like, we should be fine still doing it. But then we were like, oh, but now we can't do like our merch through the same thing. Or maybe we can. Let's figure that out. Right? There were like all these questions that came up trying to figure that out. And then like later more information, you know, got to us and other shit happened and then everything was ending and we were like, now what do we do? You know? So we did pick it back up. I told her just do her outfit, you know, to have it like out for Bloodborne. Like, not to push it back for that. So she did that, but she didn't release, like, any merch with it. So we're working with a merch company. We've been working on that, kind of, like, redoing all of that. We're actually in crunch time right now trying to get that, like done. I'm not trying to plan a date to debut everything until that's done because I don't want it to, you know, not be finished for it. But, yeah, we're working on that. Try to make that happen. And then at some point, I will debut mine. And she'll probably bring hers back, and then, like, there you go, you know? But yeah, everything, like, the order of everything got thrown so out of whack from just all the shit that went down this summer. So it was weird. Mouse of the cloth. Yeah, our theme for it, our vibe for it is very, like, biblical, Catholic, but anime and not actually Catholic, but definitely those vibes. You know what I mean? Like we both share that. Yeah, nun-like. Hers specifically more nun-like. I wouldn't say that's the theme of mine, but it definitely fits. But yeah, that was kind of like the theming for it, which we both love. We both love, and the merch. I'm really excited to eventually show it because it was gonna be so cool, and we're gonna make it still so cool, but it was gonna be so cool. Everything we were working on was like a lot. I don't think we're gonna do like a crazy lore video or anything. Originally we wanted to, and I had stuff written out for it, but like with all the plans getting stopped for a bit, halted while we tried to figure things out, and then picking stuff back up, that was the one thing I was like, hey, this is the least of our concern right now. You know? So that I don't have any work on that going. And I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Maybe I'll just tell it in some more casual format of like what we were going to do. So that way you know what the lore was going to be like in written form or something. But yeah. Yeah, but we will be doing the merch stuff still, and I'm just like my outfit has actually been done. My model itself has been done for months and months and months. I've had it ready. I've just had it for months. It's like it's ready to go, but the other stuff wasn't ready, so I'm letting mine wait, because at least for her, like, she had the Bloodborne marathon, so I was like, yeah, it makes sense for her to do hers first. But for me, I haven't really tied this outfit to anything other than the fact that we've got some merch going that will have that outfit on it. So I'm just gonna wait for that to be done, and then whenever that's done and we're ready to send it, then I'll show it. Because it doesn't really matter to me to tie it to anything else. I don't have any like game playthroughs or anything that I'm worried about with it. So, yep. But I'm excited for it. It's one of my most favorite projects, and it's something I wanted to do. My original goal was I was going to do one with every member that I could have some sort of duo outfit. There are other people that I had stuff planned with, but it didn't even really get to like get rolling. But I'm gonna revisit and see how many are willing to do it. Because I didn't want to just do one with Mouse. I wanted to do one with quite a few people. And just more duo projects in general, not always like outfits and stuff. Yeah, the one with Haruka. Yeah, right. Like I did the sock puppet one with Haruka, the little sock puppet models and stuff. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. More like specific little projects. Didn't always have to be like a huge, insane outfit reveal or anything. But yeah, so I'll definitely be revisiting that. I did get one other person a sock puppet, by the way. You'll see it at some point. I was gonna add more of them. I was gonna add more of them to the sock puppet lineup. I love the sock puppet so much. I love it. Yeah, more socks. Soon. But yeah. But I would like to do more outfits with people in general. I would. Ideally, I'm down to make them these like huge, insane projects where it's an entire merch line, an entire lore video, whatever. But that's a big undertaking. So I think I would maybe rather do more small projects so that more stuff happens, because the bigger each of these projects gets, the more months away it becomes, So we'll see. I can only imagine how unhinged a Hime duo outfit would have been. Could you imagine? I was also trying to propose like trio and quapple, what do you want to call it, quad outfits as well. Like I know some people had outfits kind of in the same theming. Like a few people had like a racing outfit, right? And I was like, why don't we do this stuff but plan it? You know what I mean? Because we were encouraged. They were like, oh yeah, if someone has an outfit of this theme, maybe more of you should go for it. But I was like, that shouldn't be a solo project. We should actually plan it together. Like why not? So that's kind of where this all came from. And then it turned into only I was trying to plan that stuff, or only members were. So I just started going all in on trying to make duo outfits happening, because I was like, hey, at least I think I can get these done on my own if I'm not really getting anyone involved, right? Like no staff or anything. It's just kind of like me. So, Fruit and Mouse have racing outfits, maybe Zen too. A lot of people had a design made with Senpai Squad. Some people turned those into outfits or made their own separate racing outfit. I would really like to do one, actually. I always wanted to do one. I was going to talk to Senpai Squad about just doing shit with them in general, because I miss them. But I wanted to do a racing outfit for a long time, actually, and I just never got to it. Because I had other projects that always had to push that back and push themselves up, Any news on the figure? Not yet, but soon. I'm working very hard to get as much back-end shit done as possible, so the wait period between you ordering and you actually getting it is as small as possible. Because figures take a long time. They're notorious. Like, you buy one and you get yours like a year later, sometimes more. So I'm doing everything I can to finagle it so we can keep it as short as possible before I actually announce and, here's the link and all this shit. But it's being worked on. It's being worked on. Anything you hear me mention is like ongoing still, for the most part. For the most part. This space one kind of looks like a racing outfit. I don't know if it does. I don't know. Are we feeling for where you could ship to? I have no clue on that right now. I have no clue. No idea. I can try. I'm gonna try it again. You'll know when I release the thing. That's when I'll have confirmation. Yeah, not Antarctica. Yeah. Redline racing outfit. Honestly, I've thought about it, but I don't want to put branding of anything else on it officially. Maybe like nods to it. Maybe some little nods to it. I could, but yeah, I don't want to do too much with that. You know, what if something happens and like someone does some crazy shit and then they're like, "Oh, this group is over," and then like the logo that I now have on my outfit is like a no logo. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Could you imagine if I had a V Shoujo outfit that was me in a V Shoujo tracksuit? And then I'd be like, what do I do? Tape over it? It's a model, you know, like you know what I mean? So I'm very wary of like doing anything that has any branding on it ever. Even if you think it'll be fine, you know? Subtle nods would be good, but it needs to be something easily changeable. I think plenty of people have done that. At the same time, though, I gotta say with like Vishojo in particular, I think it's fine. I've seen some people like say they're like, "Oh my god, I should throw out my shirts now," and I really don't think you need to, because it's not like wearing that stuff is going to promote something that's still gonna like make money or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you're not either people know what went down. You could be like, "Yeah, I was a fan," you know. Or people will see it and be like, yep, love those girls or something. And crew, you know? So I don't really think you do anything bad by like repping it, honestly. Yeah, you think of the moment, right? You think of the good of it because it wasn't all bad. There was a lot of back end stuff that turned out to be bad, but the members were fine. You know what I mean? Like nothing really bad there. So I think that's okay. So I get it, but it still feels disgusting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still have my Vishojo merch and stuff out and displayed, and I can see it. I've still got like a shaker cup with the logo all over it that I still use because that was us. You know what I mean? I personally am able to look back fondly. You know what I mean? Yeah, because to me the group was the members and whatever good was there was still there, you know? So, I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. It's whatever. So, I wouldn't worry about it. I would not worry about any of that. But I have so much of my old shit that I still use. And it still has the logo on it, you know, and I don't look at it and be like, oh god, and like I don't start shaking and like want to drop it or, you know, on the floor or whatever. It's whatever. You know. You brought the merch for the girls, not the company. Yeah. Exactly. It is what it is. It is what it is. You said not like the logo has a small PNG of the dude's face on it. Yeah, I mean, it was just like when you would look at that, most people would just think of the talents. When you would say the name of the company, most people would think of the talents and maybe like one or two staff, maybe. But it was a very like truly in branding, it was a very talent forward company for sure, where people just thought of us, you know. So that's why I'm like, you don't have to like treat the name like Voldemort, you know. It's totally fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. I don't mind. But on that note, I think Kiwami's done. Hold on. Hold on, let me make this full screen. I think, well, full screen for me. Yes. Yes. It's time. It's time. It's time. Let's go here. It's time. Finally. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let the others know. So I gotta. Because I have a collab with them later, so I'm just letting them know what time I will be good at. Okay. Okay, there. And then I'm also going to set up... Okay, it will now, like every 15 minutes or so, post the link in the chat. This is a hashtag ad. Even if I like the game, I will always disclose. This is a hashtag ad. But we're playing Yakuza Kiwami. Do I have to put hashtag ad in the name? I think I do. Yeah, I do. They require. Okay. This is the first game. It's like canonically just the first one. Very exciting. Very exciting. So I've seen parts of Zero, and I played Ishin. I actually played the one that was set in the Meiji period. So I'm very familiar with that. A lot of the other games I've seen bits of. I have not played through the first one all the way. I have not. I don't care if it's the first one story-wise. We're talking about Kiwami, which is the first one canonically released. Or not canonically released. Chronologically released. That's what we're talking about when we say first game. First one released. So, I'm excited. I'm playing this on the Switch too. I'm playing this on the Switch too. They gave me that because that is the version that has just released. There's a bundle of 1 and 2. So I have both, actually. I'm just going to play the first one for today. But they gave me 1 and 2 to play, which is exciting. So I can get to both at some point. Hooray! Because I do want to play through both of them. And then 3 is going to be coming out. What date did I say? I have it written down somewhere. It's in February. The 13th. The 13th. It'll be on Switch 2 and everything else as well, for the most part. I'm excited because I wanted to play something that felt like the right entry point. And I'm kind of glad that I played Ishin first because I liked that I got to play like a very modern one. But this one is like the proper quote unquote first one. So yeah, I'm kind of glad we get to do this. So I'm going to play this one. I will eventually play 3 when it's February, most likely. I don't know what I'll stream, but I'll definitely be playing it. You played the Switch 2 version, feels really good. It looks real good. It looks real nice. So I'm excited for it. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to mention? Yeah, so last October they released this Nintendo Switch version. And now this is the Switch 2 version. And they did fix visuals and performance a bit more to make it work with the Switch 2 and not just be a port of the same exact thing. So it actually is better for the Switch 2, which is why I really wanted this one. I wanted to wait. They do have that thing as well. If you own the Switch 1 version of this and you want to get the Switch 2 version, you can pay that smaller fee instead of buying the whole game to get the upgraded Switch 2 version. I've done that with a few Switch games. I've done that with like some Zelda games, things like that. I was actually going to replay, what's the name of it? The Heroes games. There's the new one, but I was going to play the older one first, now that it can actually run the fucking game. Or the Warriors one, sorry. Warriors style games that they made for Zelda. Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, the first one, I wanted to play it so bad, but it ran so poorly on the Switch. So now they have a Switch 2 version. And you can or maybe you just play the main one here on Switch 2, not sure. But either way, it actually runs. Wow. Yay. So what they've been doing is if they take any of those games and they make a proper Switch 2 version where they like up graphics and everything as well, if you have the original version and then you go to the eShop and you go to buy the Switch 2 version, it will be way discounted, which is nice. Because I was looking at this and I was like, oh my God, do I have to repurchase everything? And I saw the upgrade option. I was like, thank God, because I really did not want to do all that. So all of that is to say, this this version of Yakuza Kiwami, the Switch 2 version, you can do that too. So if you had the first version and you just want the upgrade, you can get the upgrade. Thank God. Okay. Okay, BGM off, and we're gonna capture, where are you? We're gonna capture you. Oh, what language do I pick? Okay, text language, obviously we're going with English. Obviously.